Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to the second episode of Skep's Unnamed Deck Showcase. I really appreciate the positive reception of the first video in this series about World Chalice. I seriously did not expect this to get nearly 300 views in less than 2 days. So thank you so much everyone who watched that, and I appreciate if you've come back for the second episode here. Speaking of, I wanted to talk about another deck that's been in Duel Links for a few years now, even reaching tiered status at one point, that recently got support in the new Vrains world. Of course, as you can see on the screen, I am talking about Gouki. Alright, so here's what I'm playing, and you'll notice right off the bat, it's sort of a combination of old-school Gouki and more combo-centric builds that we're seeing today of basically any deck that can link summon. It looks like this because back in the past, when Gouki was tiered, it was a slow control deck that would normal summon Suprex, special summon Rescorpio or Twist Cobra from your hand, and sit on traps and enemy controller that would tribute or remove your own monsters from the field while equalizing the board with your opponent while getting you hand advantage so you never got out-advantaged by your opponent. Personally, I think the format is much too fast for that at this time, so I've added a lot of extenders. I've cut down on all the Goukis that don't extend or special summon other monsters or themselves to the field, and we're basically playing all gas with the exception of back row removal and a concession to sort of old-school Gouki players, the Ballista Squad, to tribute our monsters and remove threats. First off, we're playing 3 copies of Gouki Suprex, the best Gouki ever printed. It's Goblinberg. Normal summon it, special summon a Gouki from your hand, and wouldn't you know, it adds a Gouki card from your deck to your hand except Gouki Suprex if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard. We're also playing Gouki Rescorpio. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Gouki card from your deck to your hand except Gouki Rescorpio. Wouldn't you know, Twist Cobra does the same thing, so does Iron Claw, so does Octo Stretch. They all have additional effects, but outside of Twist Cobra, none of them ever came up for me outside of games where I was trying to stall out to win the game with Octo Stretch. This Gouki can tribute any Gouki monster, target another... Wait, does it target? No, yes, it does. You can tribute one Gouki monster, then target a Gouki monster you control. It gains attack equal to the original attack of the tributed monster until the end of the turn. It comes up every once in a while, but more often than not, this thing doesn't get a chance to activate its effect. We have 3 copies of the only other Gouki that special summons monsters to your field, Gouki Headbat. It's a really, really weird card. It was designed clearly with the understanding that all Goukis would float into other Goukis, and that if you added extenders to the archetype, it would be busted out the ass. So you not only have to control the Gouki in order to special summon it, you have to discard a Gouki. So you functionally have to open 3 Gouki names for Headbat to be an extender, and if you want to use Headbat and Suprex in your starting hand, you had to have opened 4 Goukis. So Headbat is kind of a rough card to include, but we really want extenders in this deck, so we are playing 3 of it, and you will summon it from your hand more often than not. Playing Headbat gets you the ability to make a Link 3 without using your rematch, so you can search it at the end of your turn 1 and have it guaranteed for follow-up. Only having 1 copy of Rematch, which we are playing, really hurts the deck's grind game. So if you can help it, you really don't want to be using Rematch turn 1. You want to be setting up your links and then ending on a Rematch in hand, or the ability to search Rematch on your following turn to kill your opponent. Speaking of Goukis, we're playing an additional copy of every Gouki by playing Reinforcement of the Army. Why play 3 Suprex when you can play 4? 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, a concession to the format. I don't want to lose to Dark Magic Circle. I don't want to lose to Salamangreat Sanctuary. I don't want to lose to Salamangreat Roar. I don't want to lose to Crackdown. So we are playing 3 Cosmic Cyclone to deal with anything like that. 2 copies of additional Gouki spells. Gouki Finishing Move, this card is insane. Gouki Face Turn, this card is super mid. But what Finishing Move does is it wins your games. It's so good, in fact, I'd like to play 2 for games that it doesn't win on its own. You are targeting 1 Gouki Link monster you control when you activate this card. It will gain attack equal to its Link rating. So this will become 4,000, this will become 5,600, this will become 5,200. Although more often than not, this will actually become 6,100, and this will become 5,700, because if you're Link summoning these using Jet Ogre, they'll gain 500 attack until the end of the turn. So Face Turn will also give the monster you target piercing damage, which is how you're winning so many games. If you can make this with Jet Ogre and search Face Turn, you're having a or not face turn, finishing move, you're going to have a 6,100 attack monster that pierces. That means they're going to need to have 2,200 defense to not die from 4,000 life points. Gouki face turn is very mid. You could play a second finishing move. I would actually test 2 finishing moves rather than playing one of these, because I'm not... It's very rare that I got to activate this. I don't know if it comes up in any of the games. It's been a while since I watched them, the replays, I mean. So this is only really good if you're playing it with the field spell. What it does is it targets a Gouki card you control, not monster, and one Gouki monster in your graveyard. Destroy the card on the field, and if you do, special summon the other monster from the graveyard. It's a lot more powerful if you have the field spell and you set it up over 2 different turns, because then you can target your field spell, because this only needs you to target a Gouki card, not a monster, and you can pop the field spell to Monster Reborn as an extender in a more functional capacity, but I'm not playing the field spell, so... I don't know if I would play this if I'm not playing the field spell. I would definitely consider playing a second finishing move if indeed you have it. The last card is 3 copies of Ballista Squad. I mentioned before this is sort of a concession to old-style Gouki, where you would just summon a monster, pass, and gain advantage. I think the format is way too fast for that. This is sort of wishful thinking, especially if you're going second, it does nothing. I would just trust your Gouki's innate ability to get you pluses either on your opponent removing them or ideally your own link summoning. So I would cut these for 3 copies of DD Crow today. DD Crow is just so impactful, and this really isn't. Despite the fact that it did win me some games against really, really, really weird decks, I think the higher you go up the ladder, the more you should build for what you can reliably see on the ladder. And it looks like a lot of people are playing Salad right now, a lot of people playing Galaxy Eyes, a lot of people playing Dark Magician. All 3 of those decks get hit by Crow. Dark Magician, because if they try to special summon DM from the graveyard, and there is no DM in the graveyard, the card will fizzle. And by fizzle, I mean it will resolve without effect. So I would play DD Crow over Ballista Squad. Ballista Squad can be more impactful in certain matchups, but Crow is just such a safe choice right now. For the links, we are on 1 copy of Pentestag. I mentioned how good Gouki finishing moves piercing is, and this is basically a finishing move that lives in the extra deck. It didn't come up at all, so I don't know how good it actually is, but it seems gosh darn crazy, especially because most people are going to be keeping their monsters in defense position when they're faced with Gouki Great Ogre. So I think Pentestag is a good enough card to include, but there might be other cards you'd want to cut for this. A card you definitely consider cutting is Mrs. Radiant. This card should be a 3rd Jet Ogre. I don't have a 3rd Jet Ogre, and realistically, since I'm not playing 3 Gouki links, this is just material for Decode Talker and hands I want to make that. So it doesn't need to be a 3rd Jet Ogre, but it's probably optimal that it is. Theoretically, if this card's removed from the field, you can add like a Super X from your graveyard to your hand. But like, when is it going to get destroyed by battle or card effect? I feel like very rarely will your opponent walk into this, especially when everyone has access to Security Dragon. I think this thing's just going to eat a removal spell, and as a result, you might as well just have more targets for finishing move. That being said, we have our own copy of Security Dragon. This comes up in a really funny game where I co-link it with Jet Ogre, return a defense position, Fortune Lady Every, and attack for 4,000 directly, which is why I think you should absolutely play Security Dragon in this deck. The fact that Gouki Jet Ogre goes to 4,000 attack with finishing move and Suprex plus any Gouki gets you to Jet Ogre plus Security Dragon plus finishing move in hand, I think you should absolutely include this, and you might be throwing not to. Seeing as I don't have a 3rd Jet Ogre, I would even maybe consider playing 2 Security Dragon for hands where you like do this turn 1 and then like that doesn't win you the game, so you do it again. But I don't know. 2 Jet Ogre, this card is basically the reason the deck is playable. Obviously, you're winning games off the back of these 2, but if you couldn't make them with a Link 2, this deck would be way worse than it is. This card might as well have no effect text, because all you care about is that it's a Gouki name and it takes 2 Gouki monsters. Why does the Wrestler have a jetpack? Why does he have a sword? Once per turn, you can target 1 Gouki card you control, destroy it. This did come up against Super Heavy Samurai. I would have won the game if I didn't throw, but I threw, so who cares? Destroy it, and if you do, change all the monsters on the field to face-up attack position. If this card's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can make all Gouki monsters you control gain 500 attack until the end of the turn. This is how you're getting Gouki Suprex to beat over defense position Blue Eyes monsters or kill for lethal damage over anything with 2100 or less defense points. 1 copy of Ningirsu. I respect Lunalight enough to always pack non-targeting removal if ever I can make it, and I certainly can make it. And 1 copy of Gouki Thunder Ogre. I didn't mention it earlier, but we're not playing Go Onizuka because Storm Access is the only way we can access a Link 4, and Gouki Thunder Ogre is such a powerful tool for additionally normal summoning Suprex to gain its on-summon effect twice, because funnily enough, the effect to summon a Gouki from your hand is not a once per turn. So I really wanted to try out Thunder Ogre. I thought it'd be funny. And you want to get this off your field, so I figure play Storm Access, link Thunder Ogre off for Firewall Dragon, and co-link it with either Jet Ogre or Security Dragon or Pentastag, which is another reason I'm playing Pentastag, because it points up and down. But if you're not going to play Storm Access, don't play Thunder Ogre. It doesn't really get you anything. Like, if you're normal summoning a Gouki monster, like, what, are you going to link summon a second Jet Ogre to get this off the field so you can get another search? I don't think that's really good. So I would just play 2 copies of Great Ogre if I was playing non-Storm Access builds. Oh my god, I have 3 of this card. Yep, that's the list. I think it's super powerful. It's a ton of fun to play. So with that being said, let's hop into some games and see how this deck performs in the Vrains era. All right, first game of the series up against Dark Signer Carly Carmine on Fortune Ladies. I mentioned this replay earlier, and I'm showing it off just to show you how powerful Security Dragon is in this deck and why you should be playing it. Things are starting off. We're going to activate Storm Access. Our opponent activates nothing because they're, of course, unfortunately, they're going to be playing, I believe it's the Future Vision skill. They're going to activate Fortune Vision to add Calling, Normal Summon Past, Special Summon Water, draw a couple cards, Time Passage, that's the skill, into a level 8 Fortune Lady, Banishing Light. I don't know if that's really like what you want to do, but oh wait, yes, I know why they're doing that, because they had Fortune's Future, returning light to the graveyard and drawing 2 cards. We have 3 Cosmic Cyclone. We're going to banish Vision first because it pluses them if we don't. Banish Drowning Mirror Force, always play around it if you don't out it. And we have the entire 2-card combo that gets us to the combo I was talking about. We're going to make Jet Ogre, activate Suprex, activate Rescorpio. Worth mentioning, if we opened Headbat Rescorpio and any other Gouki, we basically did the same combo. We're going to open Rematch and Finishing Move. Rematch our 2 Goukis out. This is unfortunate because we basically have no follow-up if this doesn't go through, which is another important thing. If this Cosmic was any Gouki, we would have follow-up. So we activate Finishing Move and attack for 4,000. All right, game number 2 here up against a Yami Yugi on Ice Barriers of all things, sort of showing off the most recent main box versus the most recent mini box here. And I believe we're going first, and I think we open like ass. Let's Storm Access. I wish I could access a better fucking hand, if you know what I'm saying. Probably should have held on to 1 Ballista Squad, but I mean, why the hell not? I should have popped this. I don't know what Ice Barriers do, so I didn't. And at this point, I'm like, I just need to keep them off a tuner, so I'm not going to mess with anything. They're going to summon the Revealer. Revealer accesses a tuner, so this is the part where I know I have to Ballista Squad. We know they have the Monster Reborn in the graveyard, so we're saving our Cosmic for that. And if we do that, it doesn't look like they're going to kill us. So, of course, we Cosmic the, whatever is it called? Freezing Chains. Keeps them off a tuner. They're going to banish Speaker to summon a token in defense mode. I have no idea why they did that. That was a really not great decision by their part. Maybe they were assuming they were going to get Speaker off again, and they'd be able to use that Speaker to get 2 tokens over the course of their turn. But functionally, they just put a 0 defense monster up against a deck that can make a 6,000 Piercer. So, whoops. We're going to normal summon Suprex that we searched, and luckily we top deck into a Gouki, and that's all we need to win the game. We're going to make Jet Ogre, search 2 monsters. I think we're just getting Headbat and something else, and then we're going to search Rematch. Yeah, we're going to get Headbat. Yeah, that's what we're doing. This is why Headbat is so good. If we were going first, we'd be able to search Rematch at the end after making a Link 3, which is potentially very good. But here we're just going to search Rematch after. I think we're actually not. Are we? No, we're going to just search Finishing Move. Another misplay. I should have searched Rematch, made another Link 2 just so I could search Goukis for follow-up, but that's totally fine. So we have... oh, that's what I do anyway. I'm so smart. So we're going to summon Suprex and Rescorpio, make Penistag. We I mean, it doesn't matter because we're not going to, we're going to use finishing move anyway, but it would be pretty funny if they had, like, paid life points with Cosmic Cyclone, and then we wouldn't have needed to do that. And we kill him for 6,100 damage. Wowzers! Game 3, and I'm feeling a wing streak, baby. We're up against Soul Burner on Salamangreat. I'm on top of the world. I can't possibly lose. We're going to go second and see what we can make happen against, what is the best deck in the format, functionally. They're going to use Rise from the Valley of Haze, of course, to add the Heat Leo to their deck. They're going to normal summon Lady Debug, search Salamangreat Gazelle, and then link summon Balinks. We all know how this goes. This will trigger the Foul in their hand, Chain Resolve backwards. Foul will summon itself, and they will search the Sanctuary. Nice glossy Balinks. I'm very jealous. Link summoning Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. This, of course, will trigger the Gazelle we know they searched. That will activate Sunlight Wolf's effect. I don't know if they had the ability to trigger it otherwise, but getting Foul back to hand is pretty all right. They're going to send Roar. They're going to reincarnate the Sunlight Wolf to add the Roar back to their hand, and I don't think they activated Circle this turn, so that's fine. They're going to set 2 cards and pass. I'm not happy about that. I play this really scared of Roar, so I don't activate Suprex exclusively because I need them to go to battle phase, not have enough damage to kill me, because I don't know any of the cards in their hand, so I didn't know if they had follow-up. So what I was going to do is try to play around Roar by not activating Suprex to get it negated. I would wait till they go to battle phase, activate Ballista Squad. Even if it got negated, it would remove the Roar from their hand. I would be able to search a Headbat or something to possibly extend, and then be able to play through whatever they had left. But they had Debug in hand, so that was never going to happen. They're going to search Mirror and summon the Mirror to the link point. That's going to activate Sunlight Wolf's effect. That'll trigger Foul. Sunlight Wolf will add Gazelle back to their hand, and we've just lost the game. There's really no reason to play this out, but I let them go anyway. In fact, we'll just turn this up. They're going to restrict my access to, what is it, this Ballista Squad. They try to shuffle the other one back. I attribute the Suprex to target their middle set. It wasn't the Roar. What a shame. If it was a Roar, they probably wouldn't have even negated it, but they're going to negate my Octo Stretch and kill me into the sun. What a shame. All right, that's enough ladder chaff. Let's show off some curated games versus friend of the show, Swamp. We're going to go second. They're playing Burning Abyss. We're still playing Gouki. Obviously, wouldn't really make sense to switch up the deck in the Gouki video. We are going second. As I mentioned before, they're going to activate Rubik to special summon itself, normal summon Libic, make Dante. Are they activating Dante? They are not. They're just making Beatrice and passing. We're going to draw into Headbat. That's a fantastic hand because we effectively have 4 Goukis. Really would like to have drawn basically any card except this face turn. If we had another Gouki in our hand, or we hard drew fucking finishing move instead, I think we won the game. Another reason why you might want to be playing 2 finishing move over face turn. So we're going to rematch into Security Dragon to force out the Beatrice. That's all I'm thinking about, is I don't want my good monsters to get banished. They have to banish Security Dragon, because if we have any other way to put a Gouki in the extra monster zone, if they banish Jet Ogre, Security Dragon is back online. We're going to Reinforcement into Iron Claw just because we haven't used its effect yet. We're going to pitch it for Headbat. We're going to make Thunder Ogre because, like I mentioned before, Gouki Suprex's normal summon effect is not once per turn. We're going to add Twist Cobra to our hand now that we're going to leave it on the field potentially while we go to battle phase. Normal summon Suprex for the second time. Special summon Twist Cobra. Activate face turn. Popping the Suprex for the Jet Ogre. That triggers Thunder Ogre. Apparently when a card this points to is destroyed, you gain 400 attack. Is it permanent? It's sure. Oh my gosh, goodness! It is permanent 400. That's funny. Not that it's really going to matter because you never want to leave it on the field during your opponent's turn. We're going to, in fact, get it off the field with Twist Cobra because we really do not want them normal summoning twice. I don't know how much of a big deal it would be, but I mean, let's not give our opponent an extra normal summon. You know what I'm saying? They're going to normal summon Libic. They're going to special summon Barbar. They're going to make Dante. They're going to activate Dante. They're going to make activate Seer. They're going to bring back Farfa. They're going to make Beatrice. They're going to pop Farfa. They're going to activate Aelec. They're going to activate Farfa. We're going to activate Twist Cobra, attributing itself to prevent us from getting attacked. They're going to delete our... I like how there's no animation. He's just gone. we lose. All right, last game of the video, up against Doc on Silvio, playing Abyss Actors, our second curated game here. We're going to go first. I drew an absolute penis hand on another game we played, so I didn't showcase it because it wouldn't have been like worth anything. Like, certainly you're going to get killed by an OTK deck if you brick. So this is game 2 versus them, not in a like match setting or anything. It's just we played one game and it wasn't usable, so we recorded a second one. We open Rescorpio, Suprex, and Octostretch Headbat, so we do... we go pretty far this game. We activate Suprex, we activate Rescorpio, summon Jet Ogre, obviously, add Twist Cobra, add Rematch. We're going to activate Headbat, pitching the Twist Cobra, make Great Ogre, and I was like, well, they target and destroy, so I'm going to make something that targets, or that protects itself from destruction at least twice. Doesn't protect itself from targeting, which is very important. Why doesn't this say you can't target this link card with card effects? That's all it would need to say. They're going to Wild Hope. They're going to MST targeting the Wild Hope. They're going to add Mellow Mediz Nuts to their hand. Activate Mellow Madonna, pay 1,000, add Comic Relief, activate Comic Relief, Pendulum Summon, 2 cards, Crazy, Wild Hope, and Rookie, baby. They're going to Abyss Script, popping 2 of our guys. We're going to get to search. I probably should have tributed Twist Cobra, but I also didn't know that this thing like is fucking Snatch Steal. So not that thing, the Pendulum. Maybe it is Sassurik. I don't fucking know. I'm not reading Abyss Actors. I'm just showing you games against them. We're going to normal summon Twist Cobra, add, and what did we make? I got to pause this so I can check the damn logs. We're going to draw Finishing Move. We're going to normal summon Suprex and summon Iron Claw. There we go. That's all I wanted to know. All right, so we have everything we need to make Thunder Ogre again. This is another reason why... What's-his-face is so important. Headbat, because we don't have a second rematch. This is our best extender. They interrupt it. We hard draw the finishing move, so we are able to hit for 4,100 over their little man. So we're back with the deck, and it felt okay. I think that, obviously, this is a deck that will get better the more links we get. Historically, Gouki's power level is always in the generic link boss monsters because it's, frankly speaking, the boss monsters that Gouki gets suck ass. The one good-ish Gouki boss monster is a boss monster we could never get in Duel Links, being Power Load Ogre, because it's unaffected by anything. I definitely think that... like I mentioned at the beginning, Ballista Squad is sort of cope. I remember when Gouki first came out in the TCG as well, the whole thesis was that their game plan was based on being destroyed to plus themselves. It turns out you're just supposed to link with them, and the more effective capacity we have to link into powerful link end boards, the better this deck will become. I think builds using Ballista Squad, Enemy Controller, and Needle Sealing are probably not long for this world. Enemy Controller builds might stick around because Enemy Controller is insane, but I think more likely than not, we're going to see decks cutting cards like Ballista Squad and trap cards for more extenders, hand traps, or just general power cards that are much faster. Speaking of this build in particular, I really do think you should cut the Gouki face turn. Watching the replays again, I really don't think it was good. If you're not going to cut the face turn, you can maybe play 2 copies of Enemy Controller instead of the Ballista Squad, and then cut the third Ballista Squad for a cage match, because maybe face turn becomes more powerful if you have the ability to pop a field spell rather than using up a link material to access the Reborn. That being said, I do think this deck has a lot of legs. I think if you have the ability to invest in the Super Mini, that's probably the way you want to get this deck. That's how I got it. I was lucky enough to pull 3 Suprex from it pretty fast. I probably should have held out before resetting one of the boxes so I could get 3 Crackdown. But, you know, I can't complain about getting 3 Suprex. Because, like I said before, this deck really will get better as we get more links, I think. So, with that being said, I really appreciate you checking this video out. I will see you in the next one. So that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate that, and I can't believe the positive reception this series has gotten. I did not expect to get over 100 views, let alone 300 in less than 2 days. I'm just incredibly blown away and so thankful for people watching these videos. This is the first YouTube series I've ever tried to produce. I learned how to edit slightly, and I learned how to make thumbnails, and I'm particularly proud of this episode's thumbnail, if I'm telling you the truth. So thank you so much for noticing that effort and hopefully appreciating it. If you enjoyed this episode and last one as well, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Subscribing is absolutely free and will help you to keep up to date with these videos. I have one more episode planned, and then if they're as fun to make as these 3 episodes were and the reception continues to be positive, I'll definitely keep making more of these. Speaking of, if you'd like to be a part of the production of these episodes, I stream the deck building and replay farming process, as well as dual members of my Twitch chat in order to get replays. So if you'd like to be part of these videos, please consider checking the description of this video for both my Twitter page and my Twitch channel. Additionally, if you'd like to participate in community tournaments, I host them from my Discord, and you can find the link to my Discord in my Twitch channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you around next time.